Alright, I'm tired of playing bar chords. They're too full, they muddy the mix when you play with other instruments, they get boring, and they're tiring to play. So this week, I'm exploring something that I've been ignoring, which are triads. And I finally understand why they matter. They're cleaner, they leave space, and when you play with other people, that's what matters. Anyways, here's what I learned. So I've known about triads for a while, and I've seen some YouTube videos, but I never really understood why I needed to learn them. Because I already know bar chords, right? Is that not enough? But when I started recording guitar parts, like putting a rhythm and a lead on top of that, the bar chords took up all the space, and the improv/lead parts just wouldn't sound that great. There was no space for it to breathe. The range with bar chords is too wide, and so I needed smaller units, which are triads. They get the chord across with just the root, third, and fifth, and then they leave space for everything else. And when you play with other instruments, that's really important. So yeah, triads leave space, they mix better with other instruments, they're less tiring to play, they're more expressive with their inversions, and more reasons. So now I have a reason to learn them. So how I'm working on this is dividing it into 3 string sets, right? Starting from the bottom, and then figuring out where the root note is. So in the case of B minor, when the root is in the high E string, we have just barring the bottom 3. And then if the root is on the B string, then we have the shape 11, 12, 10. And then finally, if we have the root on the G string, we have this shape 4, 3, 2. So now that we know the triad shapes for each inversion, we can apply it to other keys. For example, we could apply it to E minor, which is the 4 of B. So we have, or we could do F sharp, which is the 5 of B minor. So we have, and that's because I know where the root note is. So if we just do with the 1, 4, 5 of B minor, we get, and that's just the F sharp, B minor, and E minor triads in this area. So you could see how easy it is to switch between these different triads, and you could do this down the whole neck, and this is called voice leading, where you just move a few notes. So for example, you could do, those are all the triads of the 1, 4, 5 of B minor. So yeah, triads are way easier to play than bar chords and way less tiring. So another thing is, for triads, they have different versions, and these different versions give you these different emotions/sound. So for example, if we're just in this area, you can do, right? Or if you want to move it down a little bit, you could do, which is the same, the B minor, E minor, and F sharp minor. You can also do, which again sounds different. So just by being in a different area of the neck and using different inversions, you get a completely different feel. So another thing I want to work on is trying to actively hit these triads while I'm improvising, because they're the root, the third, the fifth, and these are the chord tones, right? So when this kind of chord shows up and you hit these triads, then you're just more intentional and it'll align better. All right, so let me take what I've learned and try to apply it. I have this progression from last week. And I'll try to improvise over it and try to hit some chord tones. Let's see if it actually works. understand why triads matter now. Barre chords have their place, but when you play with others, less is more. And triads are the move. I'm still figuring this out, but every week, I'm learning something new. I'll see you next time.